Hey guys, in today's video we are going to be making our first spooky tumbler for Halloween season. This is an epoxy tumbler where we added some bats. We did a couple layers of epoxy, we did some glitter, we used spray paint and vinyl. So stick around and watch today's video to see how we made this tumbler. So first things first, I always try to sand my tumblers before I actually start applying any type of vinyl, epoxy, anything to it. So I started off with just simply sanding down my tumbler and then wiping off all of that dust or sand residue from the tumbler. I don't really know what it's called, but you know what I mean. I simply wiped that off with a wipe, and then I got ready to take my tumbler outside to get it prepped. Now, when I'm saying prepped in this regard, I just mean I decided to spray paint it instead of hand painting it in the house. So I took the tumbler outside to get that spray paint on there. One thing I did realize that I did in the process of having that tumbler spray painted, I at one point sprayed a little bit too close to the tumbler. So you're able to see a little drips through, which when you're using a spray paint, you should, I don't know the distance, but step back a little bit and just let it mist and fall on the tumbler. After I got that done, I went inside and I started mixing my epoxy. In the beginning, I used 15 mLs of part A and part B of epoxy resin to get ready to apply my glitter. Now, there is several ways for you to apply your glitter to your tumbler. You can choose to use the Mod Podge method, or you can use the epoxy method. I decided to use epoxy because I was just super excited to start playing in epoxy again, just to be quite honest with you. But I simply applied the epoxy all over my tumbler. Try to make sure every single part of the tumbler has some epoxy there so my glitter could adhere to every spot on the tumbler. Now, I kind of thought that when this was dropping, it just looked so beautiful. I was super happy with the colors of this Halloween design. Okay, so right now we have the cup spinning. I did end up going into my epoxy drawer because I had a bunch of molds. So I did end up going into that drawer and pulling out a tic-tac-toe puzzle so that I could use that overage for something else so it didn't go to waste. So that is what I did. I'm going to show you so far what the cup is looking like. I got it spinning so it could cure right now, and I just have the epoxy tic-tac-toe prepped and set up on the side. I'll show y'all. The cup is looking like. Excuse the mess, but glitter is glitter. So this is what it's looking like. And then I put the overage into this tic-tac-toe puzzle here. So I'm gonna finish that off. I think I'm gonna do a black background to it, and then the O's will be black as well. So far that's what I have going on. So after about a day or two maybe, I came back to finish off this tumbler. I came in, and this time I decided to use 10 mLs of each, both part A and part B of epoxy, because I wasn't trying to be wasting epoxy. So this time I used a little less, and I let that cure again for another couple days, and then the tumbler came out like this. Now, I was looking at the tumbler and I was kind of like, I should probably just leave it just like this because it was super cute once I had that coat of epoxy on it. I didn't because I just wanted to be super creative, so I kept going. I went in and I sanded this layer of epoxy because there was some of the glitter that was like sticking out, so I wanted it to be as smooth as possible. So I did go back in and sand it. I will recommend that you wear your safety, your PPE, your mask, your gloves, everything while you're doing this. I seem to be the type of person to give advice but not take my own, but yeah, it's neither here nor there. But I ended up sanding the tumbler once again, and I wiped it down with a damp napkin. Look at my vinyl. I had to get my vinyl placed up there. I you know what? It's been a minute since I actually made tumblers like this, so every step of this tumbler just was it was making me so happy. I was proud of myself. But I did use Cricut to get these vinyl decals cut out, and they came out super nice. Now, my husband seems to believe that I should have just left the tumbler with the orange on top. So I should have just applied more epoxy on this coat and left it like this. But of course, me being me, I had to take it a step further. I went back outside, spray painted the tumbler again with the decals on it. I let it dry. So this tumbler took me like well over a week to do. But I took the tumbler outside and spray painted it again. After it dried, I then went and peeled off all of the vinyl that you just saw me placing onto the tumbler, because I wanted more of a peekaboo effect. I've never really did a peekaboo effect, so I was like, yeah, I'm trying something new today. And I kid you not, I am in love with the way this tumbler came out. It took me a while to find all of the bad decals that was within, because I was trying to make sure I did not scrape my spray paint. So I was being super cautious, and it was coming out so good. Like, to see the glitter through this was really good. But once you see me apply the top coat of the decal, which is basically the offset, and let me know if you want to see more of the design space and like Cricut cutting portions of these videos, but I was solely focused on the tumbler at this point, so I didn't add in those things, but I can next time. So, let me know if that's something you're interested in seeing. So here's the offset, and I mean, I loved it. I absolutely loved everything about it, but it took me a minute to get it placed up there. But once I did, it's like every step of this tumbler just was making me so happy. It really was coming out super nice. I just applied the decal to the tumbler like you would anything else. Then I went in for my final coat of epoxy, but I had to also add a little bit of razzle dazzle. So I went in and applied a little color to my epoxy, which is this orange you see me doing here. I just was kind of wiping it throughout. I don't know why, but some part of me was like, yeah, let's just try a little something. But what I realized is my spinet at some point must have tilted. So you start to see all my waves just go downward. So it made it a little bit different, but I loved every part of it.